Every morning, for over 4 billion years, the sun has always returned. It has never missed a single sunrise. Not once. But tomorrow, it doesn't. At first, nobody notices anything unusual. Maybe the clouds are unusually thick. Maybe the forecast was wrong. Maybe the sunrise is just late. People make coffee. They open their curtains. They check the time. 6 o'clock, then 6:15, then 6:30. But the sky never changes. Birds don't sing. Streetlights stay on. The horizon remains silent. Everyone keeps waiting for a sunrise that never comes. And, with every passing minute, one impossible question begins spreading across the planet. Where is the sun? At first, the world keeps moving. Morning routines continue almost exactly as they did yesterday. Coffee machines begin brewing. Alarm clocks finish ringing. Children get ready for school. Millions of people leave their homes expecting the day to begin, even though the day never really arrives. News channels quickly notice that something is wrong, but nobody has an answer. Weather satellites show nothing unusual. There are no massive storms, no giant clouds covering the planet, and no eclipse large enough to explain what everyone is seeing. Social media explodes. Within minutes, millions of photos appear from every continent. New York, Tokyo, Cairo, Sydney, Rio de Janeiro. Different cities, different time zones. Yet every image shows the same impossible horizon, a sky frozen in darkness, where the sunrise should already be. At first, people laugh. Memes spread across the internet. Some call it the strangest weather event in history. Others insist the sun is simply hidden behind an unusual atmospheric phenomenon that scientists haven't explained yet. But the jokes don't last very long. The birds never begin their morning songs. Flowers that normally open with the first light remain tightly closed. Solar-powered lights refuse to switch off. Farmers stand silently in their fields, staring toward the east, waiting for a sunrise that should have arrived nearly an hour ago. Airports begin delaying flights. Schools postpone classes. Morning television stops talking about sports, politics, and traffic. Every channel, every website, and every phone notification is suddenly focused on a single question. Where is the sun? And then, for the first time in human history, something remarkable happens. Nearly every person on Earth is thinking about exactly the same thing at exactly the same moment. Not war, not money, not politics. Just one silent question shared by billions of people looking toward the same dark horizon. As another hour passes, the excitement slowly begins to disappear. In its place, something much heavier starts to grow. Because deep down, everyone is beginning to realize the same terrifying possibility. Maybe this isn't a delayed sunrise. Maybe sunrise isn't coming at all. By now, the question is no longer where the sun is. The question becomes, how long can we survive without it? At first, surprisingly, not much changes. The air is still warm. The oceans still hold yesterday's heat. Buildings, roads, and forests continue releasing the warmth they collected over countless sunrises before this one. For a few hours, Earth almost pretends that everything is normal. But underneath that illusion, a countdown has already begun. Every second without sunlight means the planet is losing more energy than it receives. Temperatures begin falling, slowly at first, but nature notices. Solar panels stop producing electricity. Flowers never open. Bees never leave their hives. Birds that navigate using the rising sun begin flying in confused circles. Across forests, deserts, and oceans, millions of animals suddenly lose one of the oldest signals they have ever known. Humans notice something else. Time itself begins to feel wrong. Morning no longer feels like morning. Breakfast feels like midnight. Lunch arrives under a sky that still looks like dawn never happened. For the first time in history, billions of people completely lose their natural sense of time. The clocks continue moving, but the world outside no longer agrees with them. Scientists around the world race to find an explanation. Telescopes point toward the sky. Satellites scan every direction. Observatories share data across continents. Yet every new measurement leads to the same impossible conclusion. The sun should be there. But the sunrise never came. By the end of the first day, the question is no longer where the sun is. Everyone already knows the answer. Nobody knows. Across the world, scientists keep searching for an explanation, but every passing hour only makes the silence feel heavier. For the first time in modern history, humanity is facing a mystery that nobody can solve. As the darkness continues, something begins changing inside people. At first, they stop checking the weather. Then they stop refreshing the news. Eventually, they stop asking when the sunrise will come back and begin asking whether it ever will. The human brain depends on sunlight far more than most people realize. For millions of years, every sunrise has quietly told our bodies that a new day has begun. Without that signal, sleep becomes irregular, time feels meaningless, and even simple routines begin falling apart. But perhaps the strangest change isn't happening in the sky. It's happening in people's minds. The world grows quieter, streets empty, conversations become shorter. Billions of people find themselves doing exactly the same thing, looking toward the eastern horizon, hoping to see the first ray of light. And as another night blends into another day without a sunrise, one terrifying realization slowly spreads across the planet. Maybe this isn't just a very long night. Maybe morning itself is gone. As the days turn into weeks, the answer finally becomes impossible to ignore. The sun isn't simply late. It isn't hiding behind clouds, and it isn't waiting just beyond the horizon. Whatever has happened, the oldest rhythm life has ever known has been broken. Without sunlight, Earth slowly begins using up the energy it has stored for millions of years. The oceans release their remaining warmth into the freezing air. Plants stop growing, harvests fail, and entire ecosystems begin collapsing one after another. Humanity doesn't disappear overnight, but every new day becomes colder, darker, and far more uncertain than the last. Yet something remarkable continues to happen. Every morning, people still walk outside. They still face the eastern horizon, not because they expect a different result, but because hope is one of the last things humans ever let go of. Parents stand beside their children. Friends stand beside strangers. Entire cities fall silent, all waiting for a light that has never failed them before. And then, almost without realizing it, humanity understands something it had taken for granted since the very beginning. The sunrise was never just the start of another day. It was a promise, a quiet promise repeated every single morning for more than 4 billion years, that no matter how long the night lasted, it would always end. Maybe that's why most of us never stop to watch the sunrise. We assume there will always be another one tomorrow. We rush to work, check our phones, finish our coffee, and barely look at the sky. It becomes so familiar that we forget how extraordinary it really is. But if tomorrow's sunrise never came, the greatest thing we'd lose wouldn't simply be light or warmth. It would be certainty. The certainty that another day is waiting for us. The certainty that life keeps moving forward. The certainty that tomorrow will always arrive. And perhaps that's the strangest part of all. The sunrise has never asked us for anything. It simply arrives every single morning. Until one morning, it doesn't.